What's good, fam? This is Constant Sports. I'm your host, Constance, and it's official. The news has just dropped. Nneka Ogwumike will be signing with the Seattle Storm. And so I've known about this for hours now, right? And I didn't want to come out and say anything until the team actually announced it. And they did maybe like 20, 30 minutes ago. They announced that she'll be signing. And I saw this coming once Seattle got Skylar Diggins Smith. I know Nneka and Skylar has been want to play together, and once Skylar signed, I knew Nneka was following. These three that they have with Nneka, Skylar Diggins Smith, and Jewel Lloyd, if they can all work together, which I don't see an issue. Nneka can work with anyone. She's an amazing, amazing player, all around player, right? She's your dominance in the post. She can step out and shoot the jumpers and even the 3 points, right? She's an amazing passer. Um, and I do believe that with Nneka in the post and they have Jordan Horston, who this is her second year. She is she has a bright future in the league, and playing with Nneka is gonna push her to that next level even faster. Um, Having Jewel Lloyd step away from the point guard position and having Skylar Diggins Smith take over that will make Jewel Lloyd even more dangerous than what she already is. And Seattle still has good guards. Um, I haven't heard anything from about Sammy Whitcomb and what she's going to be doing, but I hope she stays because with the addition of Diggins Smith and Nneka, Seattle might be a little dangerous this year. Um, as you guys know, so last season I was a season ticket holder with Seattle, and we was like on the fence whether we want to do it or not. But I'm gonna say my wife is definitely gonna be getting us season tickets again because she is a diehard fan of Nneka. Um, so I like this move. I really do. I like this move. When I lived in California, I went to all of the Sparks games to watch Nneka play. So for me to be living in Washington now and her coming up to Seattle, I'm going to be at all them games. She's an amazing, amazing player. She came into the league playing with one of the best power forwards this game has seen in Candace Parker. And now for her to be going to Seattle and having Jordan Horston learn from her as well, it's like they pass it a baton and it keeps getting passed. So I'm here for it. I am so excited and happy for this development that I saw happening and now it's officially happened. Man, this is gonna be a good season, guys. This is gonna be a good season. There's teams making moves. I see more of the guards getting traded back and forth, signing with other players, other teams. Um, the only post players that I've really seen move is Nneka now. Tina Charles has came back into the league, right? She'll be playing in Atlanta, which I still think they need some more pieces. Getting Tina Charles is a good move for them. But looking at the team, I'd say they maybe need one more player. I think they need one more player to solidify them as possible contenders this year. And the thing is everyone's trying to beat Vegas, right? Everyone's trying to beat Vegas, and people are trying to beat New York, right? And I'm happy Nneka did not go to New York because that dynamic would not work, right? We know Nneka can play with anyone, but it's not the fact that if Nneka can play with someone, is whether who's going to take a back seat to Nneka starting, because she will be starting. She ain't coming off the bench, right? Her her play has not digressed at all. So going to Seattle, that's possibly putting Jacqueline Jones on the bench coming off, right? I don't see that working well for them. But I know they tried. I know they pitched something to her. But they ain't had Skylar Diggins Smith. So it is what it is. So that is the breaking news for the podcast today. But We also got to get into our regular schedule program, which is ESPN came out with their top 25, their new top 25. Some movements that I saw happening, but there was so many losses these past week from top 10 teams where the shuffling of teams wasn't as drastic as I thought it would be. Um, as you guys know, like I said, when LSU lost those back-to-back games, technically they lost to South Carolina, which doesn't really hurt you. But then for them to lose again, I was like, that might hurt them a little bit, and it did. Um, but UCLA lost back-to-back games. Um, Kansas State is they done ran into a couple teams these past two games for them as well, who not having Lee on the court has hurt them, but I think they'll be okay because once she comes back, she's back, right? So we're gonna start it off. Number one team, we all know South Carolina, because they keep destroying the game. They keep beating people. They have their depth is too deep, and anyone who comes in, they're ready to play. Right? They give it their all every time they come on, so that way they can keep coming in and playing. So, are they a beatable team? Yes. Can they be beat? Yes. Has anyone did it? No. Do I see someone doing it? Possibly. If not, if no one beats them, then guess what? They're national champions again. But we don't know that yet, right? Number two team is Iowa. They came up one position, which no one's beat them, right? They have one loss or two losses on their record right now, but Caitlin Clark continuing to score her 30 plus points every game, and her teammates are starting to contribute more. Now they're becoming an all around team. Yes, it's still predominantly on Caitlin, or on Caitlin, but they're giving her something. Her teammates are giving her something. So that's all you can ask for sometimes, right? Number 310 team is NC State. They came up two positions to the number three. They're starting to look like how they did in the beginning of the season. I think they've settled down a little bit more and just continue to play their game, right? They fell off when they had for their two losses. They were teetering back and forth, but they're good, right? Colorado came up two positions there, now sitting at the number 4. Since their last loss, they have looked like their old selves. Their old selves. They're playing good team ball. To me, Colorado is one of the better teams when it comes to playing team ball, and that's what they're doing, and it's helping them out. Ohio State, which I'm super excited for this. Ohio State is sitting at number 5. They came up 3 positions. Ohio State has found their groove, right? We talked about it a few podcasts ago. They have found their groove, and it's working for them. And they're definitely a team to look out for, right? We know they made it far in the tournament last year, and I definitely see them making it far again this year. Number 6 team is Stanford. They dropped down 2 positions, which to me, doesn't really hurt them at all, They lost to USC, I believe it was. But we'll talk about USC when we get to them, right? When we get to USC and what's going on over there. Number 7 team is Texas. They came up 5 spots. Like we all know, their freshman Booker is an amazing player, and she is part of this freshman class that is really showing us what it is. So I am excited to continue to watch Texas proceed and make it deep into the tournament for sure. Number 8 team is Kansas State. They dropped 6 positions after their their two losses that they had. But like I said, there's gonna be some pains when you lose your best player on the team, right? Um, it's gonna happen. Injuries happen. The only difference is Lee will be back. That I know of, I haven't seen anything that says this season ending. She'll be back. She'll be back to full strength, and they will rise again. Number 9 team is UCLA. They are down 2 positions. They recently lost. They recently lost to Stanford, which wasn't as bad of a hit on them. Stanford was the number 4 team. UCLA was the number 7 team. But they did get knocked down by 20 points there, right? They got beat by 20 points, which is a lot to say that still both of the teams are in the top 10. So I think they'll figure it out. We all know that UCLA is a very good team, and they're still a scary team, right? With Rice and Betts, they're a scary team for anyone who plays them. The number 10 team is USC. They came up 5 positions. They have been playing amazing ball. They have 2 wins straight, right? So they beat Stanford 67-58. And of those 67 points, Juju Watkins had 51. Uh, that's a lot of points. That is a lot of points. I believe it's like the most points in a game in USC history, and that's saying something when you look at who went to USC, right? The Hall of Famers who went to USC. That says a lot for Juju Watkins. I do still think that her team needs to contribute more. For one person to give you 75% of your points, that's a lot to ask. But just like Iowa, they're making it work. After US beating Stanford, they went over to Cal and beat them 79-69. USC don't play another ranked opponent until they play Oregon State, which Oregon State is like the number 17 team right now, I believe it is. They have shocked some people. And as long as USC don't go in there and think that this is an easy win, it should be a good game. So we'll see. But USC is back on the rise. We know they dropped significantly after their losses that they had. But they're coming back. Number 11 team is UConn. They pretty much stayed the same as they were last week. They're continuing to win. We all know that their conference isn't that tough. But they're continuing to do what UConn do, which is win, right? Number 12 team is Notre Dame. They came up 2 positions. They're 17-4. UConn is 19-4. Both in the same conferences, and Notre Dame beat UConn. And I know a lot of people would think that Notre Dame should be ahead of them, but the fact that UConn has played a couple extra games in them, I think is what's keeping them above them. But they're just 1 positions apart. So if UConn loses, that's it for them. They shouldn't be above Notre Dame again unless Notre Dame loses multiple games. Number 13 team was LSU. They came down 4 positions, which I knew was going to happen with those back-to-back losses. And then they came out a couple nights ago and destroyed Florida. I think it was like 66-106. If LSU is playing their game and they're having fun playing their game, they're a tough team to beat, right? I don't see this as a bad thing, them dropping to number 13. I said in the last podcast that they will drop out of the top 10. They didn't drop too bad out of the top 10. They can easily make their way back up after a couple big wins. Number 14 team is Indiana. They dropped 4 positions. Um, yeah, so Indiana dropped 4 positions, and their last loss they did was against Ohio State, who was higher ranking than them. Um, so I don't know. I don't know why they dropped that many positions. That is a little strange to me. They pretty much been on let's see, 4 game winning streak since they lost to Iowa. Right? They've been on a 4 game winning streak since they lost to Iowa. Then their first game in February, they lose to Ohio State, who was a higher ranking opponent. Um, but yeah, that is definitely one I don't agree with, is dropping them that far down. Um, they're 18-3. That's a that's a very good record. That's better than your 9, 10, 11, 12 teams, right? That's better than them. They've all played the same amount of games. Um, the number 15 team is Louisville. They came up 1 position. They're 19-3. Um, Louisville has always been a feisty team. It doesn't matter who's on it. I know a lot of people thought there would be a drop off once Haley Van Lith left, but they seem to keep it going. They're still figuring it out though, because Haley was a huge part of their organization, right? Everything was revolved around her, right? All the pieces was put in place to help them succeed with her. So Louisville is like, she wasn't everything. We still here. They still relevant. So I like it. I like it a lot. Um, so that's the top 15, right? Um, looking at the next 10, the the only big move I would say is Baylor. They dropped 5 positions. Um, I think Baylor is just hit a rough patch. Um, they lost their battle with Texas, but Texas is also it's a big team, right? Texas has big players on it, and we know Baylor is a smaller team. Their their point guard is much larger than Baylor's point guard, so to be surprised that Texas outdueled Baylor, I'm really not. Um, so that is the top 15 of the top 25. Thank you guys for supporting me and watching me. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, invite your friends. Continue to support these women in all that they do, playing the game that we love. Peace, love, happiness.